So I've been working on the passenger side of the front of the bus here. I found some maple engineered hardwood flooring to match the dash. Put that down. I built a frame for the Freightliner air seat that I got here. It's ready to bolt in. And put the shoulder harness. Got the shoulder harness bolted to a steel rail up there. Unfortunately, it sits in front of the window, but we really wanted some proper seat belts instead of the lap belt that the bus came with, so that's where it had to go, and that'll be fine. That panel is finished. Built a toe kick. Got two vents there. They're hooked up to that second blower motor, so there's one big ass blower motor dedicated to those two little vents, so that should pump some heat out for my wife. She likes to have warm feet. Got some automotive carpet to clean up the bottom there. I've got the actual breaker box cover built. I gotta trim that up. I'm gonna finish that off tomorrow. And I've finished the overhead. I tried to make it look like Bluebird had it, but I modernized it. So I got two new 6x9s. I reused the old mesh that they used as a kind of a space taker upper to break up the monotony of that big slab up there. That right there is the new remote spotlight up on the roof, and it was a pretty ugly control panel. It was a black and white plastic thing, so I rigged something else up that may or may not be more attractive when I'm done. We'll see. Got to work on that a little bit yet. Backup camera, 2 cameras. It'll take 4. I've got 2 for now. Cobra 40 channel CB. That's the one that came in the old Freightliner truck that I took apart. I have a nice Motorola 40 channel that came with the bus. I took 2 of them, and I'd like to put them in one day. They're nicer radios, but they're both broken, so I got to send them off and get them fixed. So that's what I got for now, is this old Cobra. I've got a doubled-in stereo on the dash here. It's got Bluetooth and everything else you need. I used the Freightliner mechanical dump valve in the dash instead of using the little electric switches that Wanderlodge had. I just like that better. And I've added 2 USB fast charge ports. They're 3 amps each. There's 2 of them actually under each one, and they actually show you battery voltage when you turn them on. And then there's 210 volt plugins from the inverter, which I'll show you in a sec, to plug in a laptop or what have you. That ugly middle thing is actually the connector for the ECM for the truck computer. I have to find a cap for it because it's not particularly attractive. And so the inverter, and I ran the stereo off an amp, and they're up here in the side overhead. So that's the amp. This amp is actually 2 amps in one, so I don't know if you can see that, but amp number 2 I hooked it up to is dedicated to the front stereo, and then that other one, amp number 1 on the bottom there, I'm going to run back to an RV stereo that I'm going to put in the kitchen. It's got 2 channels, so the amp will run all of the inside speakers, and then I'm going to have another channel. I may have to get 1 more amp for a couple of speakers outside under the awning somewhere. So kind of 3 stereos in this thing when I'm done. Oh, and that's the inverter. It's just a little 1500 amp. It's a modified sine wave, so I don't know, it's supposed to be better. I had that kicking around from another truck. And not trying to power the whole bus, but that's enough to run a couple laptops or TV or whatever. Yeah, so, oh, and I finished insulating the doghouse. So I took This is all insulation that was left over, or that I scavenged from the Wander Lodge, the Cat 3208 doghouse. I had already insulated that completely, and I peeled all that insulation back off because it's pretty expensive. It's this well, it's like 3-layer. It's got mass loaded vinyl and some foam and some other stuff in there. So anyway, I robbed that and I threw that all back on here. So this doghouse is getting kind of heavy, and I hope it's quiet. So it's got like a 3/4 of an inch of that foam plus mass loaded vinyl insulation. It's got a layer of steel. It's got the foam, expanding foam insulation, and then it's got another layer of steel. And then what I still got to do on the top is I've got some underlay and carpet. So I think it's going to be about 2 inches thick by the time I'm done. But whatever, I don't want this thing to be noisy. So hopefully that all quietens it right down. And that is where I'm at right now. Tomorrow I'm going to bolt that seat in and finish the top of the breaker box cover there, make all that look pretty, and then it's the driver's side. Not sure if I'll finish that tomorrow, but I'll get some ways anyway.